Today on our channel, we're going to manifest gratitude because it's almost Thanksgiving and we want to give thanks. So we're going to work a Vinyasa flow. Gratitude is about shifting your perspective to see the whole. And with that being said, we're going to shift our perspective on the mat, just in a mandala flow. And before we begin, make sure that you like and subscribe. It's a nice exchange of energy if you don't have anything to give. And what else? If you need any props, grab some props. And we'll start today in a child's pose just to set your intention. Sitting the hips back towards the heels, allow the forehead to rest onto the mat or onto a block or onto your hands. Taking a breath in and out, beginning to observe the breath. Appreciating how the breath participates here with the body and the inhale, feeling the expansion. And exhale, the gentle contraction. And setting our intentions today with a preface, I am grateful for. So whatever words come after that, person, place, or thing, will be your intention today. One more breath here in this posture. And then slowly coming up to hands and knees, tabletop position. Fingers spread wide and slightly turned out. Tuck your back toes under. Lift the knees, send the hips up and back, and fold into the downward facing dog. You may need to step the feet back, widening out your downward facing dog. Option here to find any movement that feels good to you for this first down dog, maybe pedaling out the feet. Moving the hips back and forth. Saying yes or no if that feels okay through the neck. And returning to the breath. Finding stillness here in your down dog. Soften the knees, slowly walk the hands back towards the feet. Ground the feet, slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time. When you arrive, maybe come into a little bit of a back bend, bringing hands behind the back, grounding through the heels, lifting the heart up towards the sky. And then exhale, slowly coming through back to standing. So we're on the back of the mat. In case you need directional, this is the back, that is the front. Start to find the drishti, the focal point, a gaze a few feet in front of you. Feeling the feet onto the earth, maybe lift and spread your toes. Lifting the knee hip height, flex through the right foot, gently press down through the left foot. Interlace the hands over the right knee. Start to press the knee into the hands press back into the knee. You might start to feel that space right around your hip crease begin to awaken. Keep pressing down with the grounded foot, lifting through the arches. Left hand to knee, right hand reaches, extends behind you. I have a little bit of a wall behind me. Inhale, draw the chest forward, soften through the standing legs. Big step forward with the right foot, come into a low lunge. So we want our crescent lunge to have a bit of a bend through the back of the knee, lifting high onto the ball of the foot and squeeze the glutes so you start to feel this right through the hip flexor. You're getting a nice hip flexor stretch, and you can keep your hands on your hips. Interlace the hands behind your back. Lean over the front leg. Float the left leg up off the ground. Really engage through the back foot. And then step forward. Left foot meets right, about hips distance apart. Sit down right into a chair pose. Feel the outer feet spread apart from each other. So we begin to feel the outer hips. Inhale. Exhale, bow forward over the legs. Keep that nice generous bend so the torso hits the thighs. You can keep the hands interlaced. Perhaps your shoulders are a little more flexible than mine, and you can bring your hands overhead, but keep the palms together. Hands to your low back. Ground through the heels. Inhale, rise with a flat back all the way to standing. Bring your feet wide apart, heels in, toes out, and just start to play here. You can release the hands, moving from one leg to the other. Bending softly through one knee, and then the other. Start to lean over to the left. Draw the right knee into the chest, a little bit of a balance here. And then release the right foot down. Drawing the torso over to the right, weight through the right foot, left knee into the chest. And then releasing the left foot down, heels in, toes out, sit the hips low, slowly lowering down. Keep the weight here through the heels, grounding into the floor. If you find your heels are lifted, just don't go down so low. Maybe widen out your feet a bit. And see if you can open the knees without using the elbows. And then once you do that, now bring the elbows into the motion. Keep grounding through the outer edges of the feet, lifting through the crown of the head. Ground the feet slowly, returning back up to standing. Leaning the torso over to the right. Draw the left knee again into the chest. Big step back. Heels in, toes out. Sit down into a nice goddess squat. Think of drawing the inner thighs up. Check your knees. Make sure they're tracking towards the middle toes. Sit nice and low. Inhale, straighten through the legs, reach the fingertips up to the ceiling. Exhale, turning the right toes in, left toes out. Warrior two, choose the back of the mat. Reach the fingertips long. Drawing that left hip bone back and in. Flip the left palm towards the ceiling. Tick-tock the torso forward, reaching the left hand forward, up and back to reverse your warrior. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the hands left and right over the front foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right, coming right through to plank, Palakasana pose. Walk the feet back so they're right underneath the heels. Shift forward onto the toes and drop your knees down. Stay up in plank if you're feeling strong. Elbow creases forward. Elbows point towards the back of the room as you lower all the way down to the chin. Tops of the feet to the mat. Press the feet firmly into the mat. Squeeze the elbows in. Inhale, rise up to a cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes under, big breath in, knees are heavy, coming right back up to plank onto your knees. Then lifting the knees up off the floor, soft knees, press the hips back, downward facing dog. Press the hips away, find length through the sides of the waist. Inhale, right leg lifts, toes facing down, just hip height. Three-legged dog. Press the heel away, exhale, send knee to nose. Shift the shoulders over ears. Big step forward to the outside of the right hand. Drop the back knee down and just start to circle out the hips. Pausing anywhere you feel like you need a little bit extra attention. And reversing direction when you're ready. And then draw the hips back, toes stretched towards the face, finding a little opening through the back of the hamstring. A little different variation of half splits. Soften through the right knee, send the hips forward, left hand underneath the shoulder, right hand reaches towards the ceiling. Bring your hand into a fist and rotate the fist out, moving through the wrist joint. And then stretch through the fingertips, maybe tuck your back toe under, lift the back knee. And then release the right hand to the inside of the foot, send all 10 toes forward, adjust your feet as you need here. Coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Bring your elbows to your thighs and bend through the knees deeply, and then straighten a few times. And then hang out here, release the hands, release the head, pour weight evenly through the feet. Make sure your feet are a bit pigeon-toed here, so the outer edges of the feet are parallel. And then bringing your hands to your hips, squeeze the elbows in, inhale, rise all the way up to a 5-pointed star. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out, warrior 2 to the front of the mat. Reach the fingertips long, draw the outer hip back and in, and minis come to join us. Flip the left palm towards the ceiling, reach the left fingertips forward, up and back to reverse your warrior. Big breath in. Exhale, let all the air out, windmill the hands left and right, step the left foot back, right through to downward facing dog. Left leg reaches three-legged dog, toes pointed downward. Exhale, knee to nose, shift shoulders over wrist, lifting high up onto the ball of the back foot. Big step forward to the outside of the left hand, drop the knees down, and just start to do some gentle circles here through the hip. Pausing anywhere you feel like you need a little extra attention. And then reach the hips back, toes stretch towards your face, half Panamasana, half splits. And then bending through the front knee, release the right hand underneath the shoulder, left hand reaches towards the ceiling, bring your hand into a fist and circle out. That wrist joint, if this feels like too much to bring your hand to the floor, you always use blocks. And Maybe tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Release both hands down, step the left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Soft knees, press the hips back, slowly walk your hands towards your feet. Ragdoll to the back of the mat. Check that your toes are facing forward. Knees are pointing forward. Heavy in the upper body. Press through the feet. See if that adds some lightness here through the upper body. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. When you arrive, lifting through the quads, finding a little bit of a back bend. And exhale, head, neck are last to arrive. And your Tadasana Mountain Pose. So let's work the other side. Find your drishti, your focal point, ground through the right foot. Lifting the left leg up off the floor. Interlace the fingers around the knee. Press the knee gently into the hands. The hands press back into the knee. Right hand to the knee, left hand reaches behind you. Drawing the chest forward, release the hands, straighten out through the leg. Big step forward into a high lunge. Squeeze the glutes, bend deeply through the back knee. Release the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, the opposite thumb on top. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, lean over the front leg, drawing long through the crown of the head. Start to shift weight through the front foot, slowly lift the right leg up off the floor. And then release, right foot meets left, sit down into your squat. Inhale, exhale, bow over the front legs. Play here by bending through the left knee, drawing the left elbow, left shoulder to the left knee. And then bending through the right knee, right shoulder to the right knee. What do you mean bending? My knees are bent. And then back to center. That's only for people that maybe are a little more bendy. And then bringing the hands to the little back, flat back. Inhale, rising all the way up to center. Heels out, toes out. You may need to step a little farther forward onto your mat. Sit down. Malasana Yogi Squat. Holding this for a little while because I'm trying to figure out how to do this without showing you my butt in forward fold. Alright, so we're gonna lift into the left leg and I'll just transition myself over. Draw to the left leg. Things you have to think about when you're on camera. Drop the right knee into the chest. And send the right leg back, heels in, toes out, into a goddess squat. From your goddess, inhale, reach the fingertips up to the ceiling, straighten through the legs. Exhale, swing the arms around, drop, hook the left elbow into the right. Into Garudasana arms, eagle arms. Maybe the palms come together. Maybe you just keep palms together here, maybe you're here. But sit down low here into your goddess squat. Sit back with the hips leaning forward, coming right into horse stance or horse posture. Keep drawing forward with the crown of the head, flat back. Belly is soft. And then slowly returning upright. Inhale, straighten through the legs, big breath in. Exhale, release. Left elbow under, right elbow on top. Exhale, send the hips back. Reach the crown of the head forward. Inhale, release the hands, reach up. Straighten through the legs. Exhale, turn the left toes in, right toes out. Warrior two. Reach the right hand forward, flip the palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Straighten through the front leg. And soften through the knee, windmill the hands, right and left, step back through, come into either plank onto your knees or onto your feet. Shift forward, lowering all the way down to your belly. Tops of the feet to the mat, press firmly through the tops of the feet. Inhale, rise up, cobra pose. Drag the heels of the hands towards the feet. Squeeze the elbows in, shoulders down the back. Inhale, maybe you can lift a little higher here in your cobra. Exhale, hold. Inhale, maybe lifting a little higher. Exhale, hold. One more big breath in and exhale, release down, tuck the toes under. Press back up, right to your knees. Send the hips towards the heels as you do that. And the knees lift up off the floor, unfold, downward facing dog. Grounding through all 10 knuckles of the hands. Connecting back to the sides of the waist, pressing your hips towards the ceiling. If you're at home, the left leg reaches high. I'm going to be lifting my right leg so we don't flash everybody. Toes facing down, inhale, exhale, step the right foot through to the left foot through to the outside of the right hand. And this time we're gonna hold here into our lizard lunge. So stay here with hands underneath shoulders. This might be enough for you. Keep the gaze lifted. This is a fierce pose. Turning the toes out. Maybe you tuck the toes under and lift the knee up off the floor. Maybe you walk the hands forward, bringing elbows down. Find a place where you can abide a nice easy breath. And then walking the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the back toe under, turn, walk yourself all the way around to the long edge of the mat. Toes are facing forward. Rest here in your forward fold. Maybe interlace the hands behind your back. And then with hands behind the back, inhale, rise all the way up to standing, turning the left, so it'd be your right foot, I think, forward into a warrior two, towards the front of the mat. Flip the left palm forward, up towards the ceiling, reach it forward, up and back, reverse your warrior. Big breath in, straighten through the front leg, gently press the shin forward. And then exhale, soften through the front knee, windmill the hands left, then right. Step the left foot to meet the right into your downward facing dog. And I think it's the right toes now, toes facing down. Lengthening through the back leg, step the left foot to the outside of the left hand, drop the right knee down, coming right through, pressing the hips forward and down. You can walk the toes out a little so that might feel a little better in your hip. And again, finding your place where you can abide here. Maybe tucking the toes, lifting the back knee, keep the gaze lifted. Gently press the back of the skull towards the ceiling. Relax your face. Release the hands underneath the shoulders, stepping the left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into a plank, drop your knees down. So you can run through that sequence a few times if you like before we finish. We're going to practice a camel posture. So first, bring the knees about hips distance apart, sitting the hips back towards the heels with the toes tucked under. Come to seated right on the heels. I like to use a couple blocks for this posture on the high setting. But if you can reach the hands towards the heels comfortably, palms facing away, thumbs in. So normally this is taught with the hips stacked over the knees. We're going to practice this more like a bridge posture today. And you might find this helps a little bit taking that achiness out of the low back. So first find the back bend here, lifting the heart towards the ceiling, just a gentle opening through the throat. Bit of an anterior tilt through the pelvis. And pressing the hips forward, just to the point. We don't want to feel any achiness through the low back. Think of pressing down through the knees and see how that action lifts all the way up through the throat. You should be able to talk comfortably here. If it ever gets too much through the neck, you can draw the chin to the chest. This is a very challenging posture. A little easier if you add a smile. And slowly drawing the hips back towards the heels. Sitting right back through to a child's pose. Tops of the feet to the mat. Sit your hips back, reach the fingertips forward. Forehead rest onto something, a block, your hands. We'll put some pressure onto our forehead. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system to rest and digest. And before we finish practice today, I want you to think of one thing about yourself that you're grateful for.